my friend?
We're going to run.
Yes, going.
We're here in Dallas. So we're going to my favorite place in Dallas. We're at for lavender latte. We had a good lunch, or brunch at St. Anne's, and so now we're getting our latte. So excited. Literally my favorite. Okay, gotta give it a try.
Okay, first time.
First time, lavender latte, my favorite. It's delightful, right? Super good. So I am thrilled that we're in Dallas together, and like I feel like we're on the same wavelength, and we've had so many great conversations about business and life and long-term, like how we've built our businesses. And you've been in this industry for how many years?
It's gonna date me, but 21 years.
That's interesting. I thought I was strong at 10. So I feel like it definitely is like something that I want to talk about, and kind of how have you like maintained this successful, crazy world that we live in every day, and all your details that go into that. So I guess tell me a little bit about the start of how you are where you are. You're a wedding DJ. You're based in New York. You work everywhere though. I feel like when I follow you on Instagram, I'm like, where is Brian today? Because that's literally the case. It's like how many days a week do you think you travel? Like typically?
Well, enough to get platinum status.
That's
my goal every year.
Life goals.
Can I get that? And I'll do whatever it takes to get there. So as long as I get there.
It's like going to Russia.
Right, yes.
You recently went to Russia, to Venice.
All about those MQMs. All about the MQMs. If you're a Delta person, you know what MQMs are.
Awesome. Seriously, Russia? Okay, so tell me a little bit about your beginning.
So I started in the nightlife industry. And really kind of just busted my chops there, and just learned how the essence of DJing, how to read a room. I was in an open format club, so that meant like we had 8 to 8, well not 8, but let's say 21 to 80 in that room, just from all over the country coming to Southern California to enjoy their vacationing and all that kind of stuff. So learning how to read a crowd and be able to play off of what's there that night was important. And so that kind of allowed me to transition to pretty much any kind of room I could walk into and just play and be able to be decently successful in the initial beginning.
So you were in Southern California when you got your start. How did you kind of phase into like destination? I know you've lived a lot of different places. You know, you've made fresh starts in lots of new cities. Like tell me a little bit about like how did you spread wider? Okay,
initially I was in a destination location. I wasn't going anywhere, but people were coming to me. And so that helped just kind of carve my niche in learning different ethnicities, different where people are coming from. Now it's kind of, again, like a buzzword. This destination thing's just kind of blown up in the last couple of years. Through a series of different events, I made my way to Florida and started the mobile side of my business, not the nightlife stuff, but this private event world over. So I had to rebuild my brand, restart, but I was keeping this going on in California all along. But again, I'm in a destination market. People are coming to me.
To Florida,
and now it's a different segment of people, because people don't tend to normally go cross country. They'll be like in the western side, they'll stay in the west, and on the east, same thing. So we're getting people from Atlanta, New Orleans, who have all this great culture, like traditions, things that they're doing. Texas, this country Texas that I had to learn on the fly, all this different stuff that I wasn't getting in California. So I met my wife in Florida. We got married. On our honeymoon, we started talking about like where we want to live, what dreams, future, all that kind of stuff. And we both had New York on our bucket list. And I had already done a couple of events where I was flown in to do some events in New York. And I knew that the caliber was just going to go exponentially more. We moved there in 2011, a year after we got married, basically, and started building the New York brand, and the caliber of events was just on another scale, and the crowd was different. Even though I was on the East Coast, it was different because now I'm getting the international crowd. And a lot of ethnic weddings. So I was able to really exceed even what I had thought I had known at that point to another level. You know what I mean?
Do you remember back in 2011, 10, what was those first actions you took? Like you moved, like, okay, you wake up there and you're like, this is now my home. And like, do you remember those first steps that you took as to like getting your name in that market and saying like, okay, I'm going to own this town?
It was harder than I had ever imagined. I don't know if I got lucky or if it was just hard work ethic, or maybe the fact that I was in the South and things are a little slower there, but getting to New York, it's the hustle is on another level. And
so
I wasn't getting any traction, to be honest with you, especially starting out. It was really rough. And I met this fashion event planner who told me, stay the course. Be in it, because this town is all about the story that you can create, and they don't want to make it easy on you. But if you can stay in it, you're going to get there. And a lot of people quit before that even happens because they just want that instant gratification. And so this was a game changer for me, and just knowing, okay, I got to make sure I'm in that for the long game, know my goal, know where I want to go, and just plow through it. So for me, it ended up being a lot of relationship building, and to this day...
Which you're excellent at a little bit, yeah.
Thanks. But that's just trial and error too, because I mean, naturally my job is extroverted, but internally, like when I have my own downtime, close the shades, that's not my thing.
I feel like for me, I love people, but it's exhausting.
Right.
And so it's like 3 days of people, and then I'm just like, don't talk to me, like I want to snuggle with the dogs, I'll be in my robe, sitting in my office on my computer, don't call me.
Totally.
So I'm curious, we were talking about the long game, and I feel like you're kind of nodding to that now, even with the way that you're approaching relationships, but how do you feel that you've sustained a 20+ year business with those relationships? I feel like you have the expertise now to say, like, these are the moves that I've made, and has like seen consistent, growth over all this time.
Sure.
How have you created that kind of long game strategy?
Right. Well, one is never burning a bridge, which is super important. Even if someone does you wrong, a lot of instincts would be just cut them off, write them off. And I've had situations where I've been done wrong a bunch, but I've always remembered that, like, I don't know if that's ever going to come into play again. So. And
the circles of events, as you know, is like this big.
Right.
Everyone
totally.
knows everyone. It's small circles that overlap each other.
Absolutely. So I think one of the biggest things I've learned through this time period is just to give people mulligans. Like, you know what I mean? I mean, obviously within reason. If it burns you, you gotta, choose wisely. But if it's something that's forgivable, let it be. And because you never know when it's gonna come back. And I've had that come full circle a few different times where I've had to go back, where another door's opened and a relationship's blossomed again because I kept that there. And so that's a big thing. And I think too, the other thing is staying consistent to your brand. I think it's super important. Obviously, you need to evolve, but true to who you are. If for me.
And I think that's when I'm doing event branding and I'm doing personal branding for companies, like that really too, starting with the foundation of it being authentically them from the beginning. Like when you're developing your brand, it should be you.
Right.
Like it should be a reflection of you in every sense of the word.
Right.
Essentially, colors will change. Patterns will change. Like things will be to stay current.
Right.
But ultimately, 20 years later, it should be still you.
Right. So.
Well, I feel like one thing that keeps resonating with me that I've been hearing is the human-to-human marketing, and I feel like in 2018 that's something that's really being showcased again. We've been hiding behind these screens for so long, and now it's like getting out, writing a thank you note, taking people to coffee, and actually what that long-term has an effect on your business. So how are you using human-to-human marketing, like to continue to deepen and strengthen the relationships that you have? I know that you have a couple of little like weekly things that you do. Let's expound on that.
Exactly, take credit for this one, but one of my photographer friends, actually, you may have been on this podcast beforehand, Philip, was the one who he's a connector.
Philip's episode 1.
Okay, there you go. Yes. And so one of the things that I've kind of tweaked of his models is he used to go through his phone and look through the people he's texted, and he would text 10 people a day. And
he's excellent with that. Like,
yes.
He's like so personal about his connection. Yeah, and like I am terrible. I don't respond to texts for days.
Yeah, I'm the same way.
And I'm like, and he's so like on it, and it takes 2 seconds.
Right.
Like, my gosh, and it makes me feel great when he responds quickly.
Yeah,
it's like
exactly.
Yeah.
So I'm not that diligent in that regard, so I've actually picked out 10 people a week that I just want to connect with in some way. And
do you do that like on Sunday night or Monday?
No,
or what is
Sunday night I'll pick my 10.
Okay.
And then go into the week figuring out a way to connect with these people, whether it's just sending, and it's not anything I want, but it's just saying, hey, I'm thinking about you. So that's
human to human authenticity.
Absolutely.
I mean, really.
Yeah, and so I've got a running list of about 50 that these are my people that for the year I'm trying to build into, and I'll rotate through those 50. community. And I think it's important to with each person, be individualized to an extent. You know, I don't have a form template that I'm like writing these thank you notes with. Like, I'm actually thinking like, what's going on in their life right now. And if it's somebody that I haven't like hung out with or seen much of, you know, then I go and I look and see what's going on with their life, because I'm like, gosh, you know, this person's been on my mind. I haven't had a chance to really connect and just see what's going on.
So how have you found, I mean, after 20 years again,
I
mean, I feel like there's ebbs and flows with business. Like, how have you worked through some of those lows to continue to generate, you know, traction?
Right. It's not been easy, I'll be honest with you. I mean, that has been something that there's been some few times where I've wanted to just throw in the towel because it's not hitting where I need it to hit or whatever. But I keep in mind it's about the journey. I know this, again, sounds kind of cliche, but there have been periods in my life where, I mean, to be honest, when I was trying to build this Florida thing, and I was trying to keep California going, there was at one point where I didn't have enough events in Florida to even pay my plane ticket back. And so I'm like, I have events in like 2 months there. Like, I got to figure out how to get back there. So I took this like temp job in this office, just doing like, I don't even remember what the task was. And I was like, this sucks. I can't believe I can't tell anybody I'm doing this. Like, I have to just make money to like, you know, pay my bills. And through that, a corporate connection at that office ended up being one of my biggest accounts. And I'm like, had I not taken that and humbled myself really to take it, who knows where I would have been at.
I feel like those are things that are like the thin threads. That, like, the journey gets you to that, to then like give you the momentum forward. Cool. So productivity hacks. Let's talk actual business. Like, what has recently been an addition to your business, either app, website, book, that's like changed the way that you're working, and like it's you're like, why didn't I know this sooner?
One of the biggest ones I would say right now is I joined a book club. Okay. Because one of my goals was.
And is it a one that I might know?
You might. It's so Troy Williams.
Yes. Okay. Yeah. Yes.
So he started one.
#, Simply Book Club.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay.
So I joined his, and then I thought, our industry, my industry, the DJ industry, has nothing like this, and like. Yeah. Why not do this for my industry too at the same time?
Yeah.
So now I'm kind of committed.
And you're such a mentor to the DJ world.
Yeah. And that's kind of come out in the last couple of years of really speaking at these conferences and stuff. And I feel like reading has been something that's changed. I mean, it's if you're a reader, you know, what's the saying? Great leaders are readers or something like that. So I wanted to push my industry to do that. So, but like, I wanted to make something specific for them. And so I've just let it open-ended, and that's been a game changer. And I think the second thing I've done this year to really be a hack is to find conferences or something outside of your industry to go to, whatever that is. For me, it was a goal-setting workshop that I did in January. That's been a good game changer, and it reminded me of like, I always need to find something that's outside of my industry to go to, spend money on.
And the human-to-human contact of being present and being with new contacts.
Absolutely. As far as apps and stuff, for me, there's been two that have been big. One is Wunderlist.
Yeah, I love Wunderlist.
You use that? Okay.
I do. Yeah.
So
grocery list.
Right.
I even actually put some goals in there too. I have a couple of lists, and then notes on, I don't know, random stuff.
Yeah.
I love it.
The fact that it syncs, you can get it online.
I usually have it on my big Mac screen, like in the bottom right, all the time.
Yes.
Because I can just add.
Totally. Yeah. So that was been a big one because I was usually using my calendaring program, which didn't work well. And then the other one has been this one called One Day, which is like a journal essentially, but it,
like a notepad.
Right. Okay. But it chapters it out. It does it by location.
Associates it by day, location. Interesting.
And you can sync it to your photos, your videos, everything, so that like, everything you can think of that you do on your phone, which is a lot. Even text, you can assign it to that. So it really like catalogs it really well for you.
Kind of like I love the On This Day on Facebook, and you're like, oh. Yes, I was there.
Absolutely. And I was using like notes for iPhone, and I lost them all one time, and that was like, I can never let that happen again. So this syncs everything back. Yeah, and now I'm religious about utilizing it because it's just been a great thing. So those two, I'd say Wunderlist and One Day have been my biggest 2018 hacks that I'm using a lot.
In terms of equipment that you're using right now, like you have obviously went from vinyl to, we were talking about CDs, DVDs, and then now digital. Like, what is like something that's been a game changer for you when you're actually working that would be beneficial for other DJs?
Well, I think it's important to remember where your space is. I really, like, we go to the Engage conference as one. I'm literally on a table that's like no more than this, you know what I mean? And I can't bring a big controller.
Yeah.
So I always tell people it's about knowing how to drive a car, and then whatever car you use, you can just drive it, right? Because you've got the skills. So I think a lot of times we spend so much time thinking about like gear pieces and just not spending time on the craft itself.
Okay, that's a great tip. Yeah.
But that said, there's two of them that I would recommend. I think Pioneer Products, I worked there, so there was a little bit of bias there.
And have a great history if you know anything.
Yeah, but their stuff is so user-friendly. And the other thing is, in our business, we don't get do-overs, right? We're constantly going, and it has to be perfect every time. Their fail rate is very minimal, if at all. So that's super key with their stuff.
Crucial.
Yeah. And then lately I've been using Akai product, which is very portable.
And how do you spell Akai? I literally have no idea what you're talking
A-K-A-I.
A-K-A-I, okay.
They make keyboards and all kinds of different stuff, but they also in the pro audio space as well. And it's very MIDI based, assignable. You can use it for different things.
Okay.
So they got two products in particular that I'll mention. You probably won't have any idea, but the Akai AMX, which is like a small little controller, and then a MIDI pad, which is an LPD8. Those two combined they can go in your backpack. You don't get stopped at customs.
Then you can work on the site.
Yes,
tiny little table.
Exactly. It's not the sexiest looking thing, but it gets the job done, and literally it's a great backup. Even if you have the bigger pieces, this is a great piece just to have. And because again, you don't get a do-over, so having that backup is key.
Well, I'm so glad we got to sit down.
Yes,
this is awesome, and I loved our brunch and
absolutely
our lavender lattes.
Yes, thank you so much for having me.
Cool. Yes.
So I've obviously been spending the day with DJ Brian B. We had a fun day today, and more about our costumes a little bit later. Sneak peek by Buddy the Elf.
I know that.
So you're gonna find more about this later, but where can people find you?
DJ Brian B Official. That's both my Instagram and my website. There's some free mixes on there. Download away.
He's amazing.
Enjoy it.
So I had a total blast with Brian. I hope you guys enjoyed listening to all of his tips and takeaways. I feel like we could have talked forever, but as you saw, we were wearing costumes. So tune in next Tuesday, and I'm gonna show you where we went, and I'm gonna take you behind the scenes with my event friends, and we have such a blast. So subscribe so you get notified when the video is live. Hit the little bell somewhere below so you're notified of any new details that I put out, and can't wait to have you along.